Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Elevated Beauty Podcast. I'm your host, Emily Fouts. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about chasing your peace. So if you're interested, then keep on listening. Just a forewarning, this first segment, I had my echo turned up on my microphone, so it won't be like that the whole time, just on this first few minutes. Sorry about that. So chasing your peace, this can be applied to your personal and your professional life. I'm going to go through some questions that maybe you can ask yourself, how we can get our peace and why it's important. So something I feel, and I have been listening to other people speak on topics like this, and I've kind of put some stuff together. I feel like something that really deters us from maintaining peace is paying too much attention to external inputs. There are so many opinions out there. There are so many people telling you what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, what works, what doesn't work, what's effective. It's too much. You're in charge of what feeds your brain. We need to curate what we're allowing to impact ourselves. For example, news outlets. I don't pay attention to any news outlets because I don't want that to negatively affect my well-being, my mindset. Yes, I know the world fucking sucks. I don't need to be reminded of it all the time, and it put me in this really down place. I want to be inspired. And so I don't allow things like that to influence me. Cultivating our feeds, detaching, shutting down platforms that don't serve you. You can't be fully present on every single one. You have to choose which ones reach your target audience and put your energy in that. I put most of my energy in Instagram. I've tried TikTok. It just doesn't work as well for me. I don't have the reach there. I could work on it, but it takes more energy from me than I desire. And then I feel that it benefits me because my current audience connects with me on Instagram more. So that is where I put my energy. You might be a person who can, and that's amazing because you are getting more exposure than you would versus just on one social media platform. But for the majority of people, I would say that heavy presence on multiple social media platforms does produce anxiety, and it is a big load to carry. It's a big weight. So detaching yourself from certain things that aren't serving you and shutting that down can benefit you greatly, because instead of feeling like you're drained, you're able to have a more productive energy that you can put in a place that does serve you. I was actually listening to a podcast this morning from Powerhouse Women, which is one that I just started listening to a few days ago. And I really like what they're doing there on that podcast. And she had posed a question. I don't remember what the topic was, but if you had 1 year left to live, what would you do with that 12 months? What would you stop doing? How would you decide to spend the last year of your life? And I thought about it. It wasn't hard to think about it. Work would mean nothing to me. I would want to spend time with my family, doing memorable things, traveling, enriching my life. And it made me take a back seat for a second, say, whoa, okay, I have 1 year left to live. This is what I'm doing. I do not do this at all in my current life. In my daily life, I'm not striving to do those things. I'm not striving to do the things that I would do if I literally had 1 year left to live. And I'm like, why the hell am I not doing that? It doesn't make any sense because I could die tomorrow. And it really made me think your work should support that. Because I work every day. It's what supports my life. It's how I make my money. And instead of just continuing this hamster wheel, I'm working so that I can enrich my life, so that I can support my family. And we really need to think about the big picture, guys. And when we're trying to chase our peace, we're trying to live our lives fulfilled. You don't live to work. You work to live. And we want to be successful and we want to make money, but you can get caught up in that hamster wheel way too quick. And I just reminded myself that the reason I work is so that I can enrich my life with my family. I need to go on trips with my family. I need to take those vacations because that is how I would live the rest of my days. I could go on and on about this, and there's probably a more articulate way to put it, but I'm pretty sure you get the picture. I feel like, why else are we meant to be here on this earth rather than to grow as an individual, to spread kindness, evolve as humans? I'm not put on this earth to just like work and make money. Something that I do in my job is definitely to give that exposure to other people on how they can elevate their self-care and how that will impact the rest of their life. And I feel like I am helping to elevate other people. So I am giving something to this universe through my work. And not necessarily that everyone has to do that, but I think it is an amazing thing to do if you can with your work, to help elevate your community. But yeah, I don't know. That was just like a big bombshell for me. Like, damn, okay. Because I'm so about chasing my peace. I'm so happy with my life right now. There was another question that they had asked that was, if there were no judgment, if there were no bad decisions, like, what would you do? And I'm like, I wouldn't do anything, because that's how I live my life. I live my life without worrying about the judgment of other people. I live my life to serve myself and to make myself happy and the people around me that matter to me happy. And I'm living my best life. There's no time. I learned this years ago. There's no time, and I'm not going to sacrifice my peace for something that doesn't matter. So I live my life unapologetically. I do what I want to do, and I am so at peace. So I was kind of just like in reflection, like, wow, that's amazing. I've done a lot of self-growth here, and I'm really happy of that growth that I made, because 5 years ago, I couldn't have answered the question that way. I would have answered it differently, because I would say 5 years ago that I did treat myself as a martyr, and I sacrificed my own peace for the well-being of other people, or what I thought was the well-being of other people. And I can make a whole episode on being a martyr, but I'm not that way anymore. And I am very at peace with my life, but I feel like I can do more. Like I said, I'm not living my life the way I would if I had 1 year left to live. So that's something to think about. So something that you can do to chase more peace in your life is to break up with friends or family and look at your relationships. It's not always about breaking up with friends and family, but it's more so about creating boundaries and observe what is and isn't serving you. And that's something, again, I did years ago, because I did have family members that their actions were not serving me. And although I didn't want to just cut them out of my life, like I didn't care about them and they didn't exist, because I still have love for them, I created a boundary with them, and people can respect that boundary or they can disrespect that boundary. And if they disrespect it, then the best thing for you to do is to ignore that until they are mature enough and respectful enough to understand the reason why you're doing what you're doing. And of course, when you create that boundary, you can explain it to them, but people will choose to respect it or not. And yeah, I have created boundaries with people and not pursued friendships that I could recognize would not serve me. And with that being said, I don't have very many. I have friends, but I don't feed those friendships, and it's different when you're an adult and you're a parent too. You don't feed your friendships the same way that you used to, because your relationships with your partner and your child are the most important. And it is healthy to feed friendships too, especially if that's the kind of person you are, and if that is how you feed your soul. I personally like to spend more time by myself. I enjoy my own company, and I don't really desire the company of others, because I do get so much stimulation from my work, and I feel like I do feed my friendships here while I'm at work. I work with some great ladies, and I feel like I get enough here that is sustainable for what I need. So personally, I have no problem limiting. I don't know where I'm going now, but yeah, I don't have a lot of friends. I do have some, I have like maybe 2 friends that I don't see normally, that don't live where I live. And every couple months I will reach out to them, give them a phone call, something. And what more can you do when you have a long distance friendship? But yeah, I only have like 2 really good friends that I try to keep up with at a pace that works for both of us, because I recognize that I don't need a lot of friends to serve me. And so yeah, just breaking up with friends or family, or just creating those boundaries with friends and family that don't serve you is, I would have almost say, one of the number one ways to gain peace in your life. So to summarize, identifying what you would prioritize if you had 1 year left to live, and then making sure that in some capacity you're striving for that in your daily life. That is how you will chase your peace. That is how you will get to a peaceful and happy point. Stop paying too much attention to external inputs from others. Cultivating what feeds your brain. I'm just like having a weird brain freeze right now. Removing news outlets that don't serve you. Some people do like the news. And if you do, just find maybe one that aligns with what works best for you. I don't know. And then breaking up or creating boundaries with those friends and family. Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. You can follow me on social media at Elevated Beauty Aesthetics, or on my esthetician shop, which is Shop Cryptic Skin. That is where I sell esthetician themed apparel that is supernatural in nature and kind of kitschy designs for the modern esthetician. So as always, I will see you guys next Monday at 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time for another episode.